Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, so I want to bring this up one more time. I'm going to keep pounding the table on this. If you guys want to get a channel membership, it is $25 a month. God forbid that'd be a lot for a lot of people. Again, we are trading and investing in these markets. I wouldn't think that would be a lot for you guys, but I'm not going to try to convince you of anything here. Okay, the crypto bull run is probably going to last another 12 months. You guys may see some of this content as time sensitive, or you may just simply want to get early access to the content for yourself, which would be one of the premier features of getting the channel membership. If you guys want to get it, you can just hit the join button below the video. Again, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. You can do what you want with your own money. But if you want it, it's there. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. If you sign up for it and you decide you don't like it, you can always cancel your membership. Okay. All right, so let's get into LTCN first. Been hearing a lot of comments about, oh, it's a green day, but then it's a red day. Guys, that's crypto. It's going to happen, okay? In my opinion, the crypto bull run hasn't really even started yet, okay? Yes, altcoins have moved up a little bit. Yes, the miners have moved up a little bit. The spotlight is still kind of on Bitcoin, okay? Uh, Look, I want to reiterate something here that the last bull run that we had in 2021, I'm not talking about early 2024. The last bull run that we had in 2021 did not really start exploding to the upside until December. Okay. And again, it didn't happen until after the elections, and we just had the elections. I mean, albeit we've had some nice price action, sure. But like I said, I think the crypto bull run is just starting to warm up. I don't think we've actually really gotten started yet. Look, if you guys think that the price of LTCN is going to fly from $17 to $500 in one day, you're out of your mind. Okay. Crypto moves fast, but it doesn't move that fast. Not always. Okay. So again, look, I'm going to show you guys another example. Okay. I've shown this before. I'm going to show it again. You see this little channel back here, roughly about a year ago. We spent a lot of time in this channel, and then eventually we went up. Okay. But you guys can see it took like 4 or 5, even 6 weeks for this thing to start ripping. Okay. And then we had another pullback. And what do you know? We had another kind of rising channel here, which typically is actually a bearish pattern. But again, I wouldn't usually measure this like these because that's not how you measure a channel. But you can see it was going up above the EMAs, and then boom, we took off like a rocket. Okay, we're kind of seeing something similar now, but again, it takes a few weeks to play out. It's not going to happen immediately. If it did happen immediately, I would be shocked and even a little bit worried. Again, the longer these things take to play out, the more sustainable the move is. So if it takes 6 weeks or even 2 or 3 weeks to play out, for us to even go from here to here, that's actually a good thing. Okay, you don't want to go up too fast, because then if you go up too fast, then it comes down just as fast, and nobody wants that, right? Maybe some people do. Maybe it happens that way. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying that, based on historical data here, it does take a little bit to play out. And we're seeing something very similar here. So, all right. So buy zones here on LTCN, still looking at the same thing. So 15 and a quarter to 1650. We got to get a close on the weekly above this top of this channel here in order to confirm that it is actually going to serve as support. We don't have that yet, so maybe Nvidia earnings will change that tomorrow. Just so you guys know, Nvidia earnings is aftermarket. Close tomorrow. What do I think about Nvidia? I think likely it's probably going to go up. I'll talk about that in the next video when we talk about the miners. Okay. So 25 to 54 here for the immediate targets. Roughly about 250% gain. All right, so I'm going to move down here, and Bitcoin as of right now is trying to break out of that bull pennant. Just so y'all know, it is the target for that is right around 105 to 110,000. All right, so BCHG is so as of right now 7 and a quarter to 780 is going to be support. Targets range anywhere from 10 and a quarter to about $24. 235% gain here. HZEN. I would still say this entire support zone could be a buy area. So 340 to 420. Again, because the trend line, when you measure this down, it actually does kind of go a couple weeks out to the bottom of that zone. But like I said, November, December, especially once we get closer to the holidays, markets should theoretically get more bullish. Targets, I'd say about 690 up to about 1230. Again, once these things get moving, they're probably going to move pretty quick. So 250% gain. ETCG still looking very bullish. EMA is curling up on all three fronts here. That's a very good sign. So I would say the EMA is probably going to serve as support here, 10 to about 1060. Targets 1320 to 20 and a quarter. I do find it to be interesting that ETCG is moving up, but not ETH. That's a bit weird. So 100% ETH. So haven't made it out of the zone yet, but we're above the EMA, so the zone is going to be the support. And again, the EMAs are sitting at the bottom of support. So even if that wasn't the case, the EMAs are still there. So 23 and a quarter to about 28.20 as support. Target up here somewhere between 47 to 53, depending on how you want to measure it. Could be as much as 120% gain. All right, next one, GBAD. Finally got some green on the histogram there. That's always a good sign. Nice little double bottom pattern. Okay, so buy zone here, 450 to 5, at least until we get above the EMAs in the zone. And targets here, 780 to roughly about 32. $580% gain on this one. Fill G, file G, whatever you want to call it. It is moving back up. We are getting green on the histogram. That's always a good sign. Not above the EMAs yet, so support as of right now is still 34 to 45. Again, these cryptos or even stocks in some cases can sit in a zone for a very long time and not move. And that's what's known as accumulation, and then boom, pop off to the upside out of nowhere when nobody expects it. I'm going to show you what I mean here in a minute. So 400% is the target, which is the all-time highs. It could easily go past that. 930% gain. Okay, GLIV, I would say anywhere from the top of the support, 670 to about pretty much where the current price is. So about 1240 could be a buy zone here. I'd just be looking for the highs as the target, so roughly about $80. 1,050% gain here. Okay, G-Link, nice little wick to the upside. This could be an early indication right here that the price is about to fly off to the moon. So support here, roughly about 54 to 65. I'd say target's going to be anywhere from 85 to the highs up at 220. So this move would be about 320% gain. GSOL, a little bit of a pullback off of the EMA's resistance and the top of this channel. Am I surprised? Not really. Do I think it's going to last? Probably not. You can see GSOL hit oversold recently. Just because it hit oversold does not mean it cannot pull back a little bit before going higher. That's to be expected. Again, usually when you reverse a trend, you got to create a series of higher highs and higher lows, which means there is going to be dips along the way. Okay, so buy zone, 170 to 200. Target would be all the way up at the highs, 580. You can kind of decide what your profit level would be anywhere between there or above there. 250% gain. GXLM. So yeah, this one still looks pretty bullish. This candle is not bullish, but it's green and it's up there. So maybe we get a gap fill. If that's the case, it could drop back down, maybe even test this white line. So somewhere between 24 to 27, $28 is somewhere I'd be looking personally to potentially scoop up shares if it was me. So 52.50 to about 70 would be the target in this case. 186% gain. And again, the reason I say that is because it usually gaps do get filled. Okay, so you can see the price is right around the EMAs. But it's possible the gap could get filled. It could come down to an undercut and maybe even or also get a wick down before eventually popping back up. Okay, that's the reason why I say that white line is relevant. All right, Meta. Nice little double bottom forming here. That's always a good sign. W pattern. Again, the target for the W pattern, top of the move in this case would be 2250. So buy zones roughly around, I'd say 1015 to anywhere between 1015 to about $16 I would say is a good area. Obviously the lower the better, right? Okay, so 17 to 70 would be the targets. So maximum move here roughly about 575% gain. And again, if you guys are looking to, try to time the top here, you want to get like those 10, 20, 30x gains. You don't really care about these levels. You're just kind of accumulating as low as you can get and waiting for the rip. I totally understand that. We have some positions like that as well. So Zcash range here at 3.25 to roughly about $6 as the buy area. Targets $8 to 10.25 for now. About a 225% move. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys now what I mean when I'm referring to accumulation. Okay, so there's a couple good examples I could use for this. Palantir is a good example of this, and it's not so obvious, but again, I'm going to show you guys, and I know this is not about stocks, but I'm going to show you guys kind of what I mean here. So, whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, so basically, make this a white box. You guys can see, actually, even that's hard to see. Let's make it a different color. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you guys can see it got up into this level, okay, and then it kind of chopped around in between the EMAs and this level. But what you don't see is that this thing was mostly going sideways, okay? It can go sideways or sideways and up and still be considered to be accumulation until it eventually gets a breakout. But you guys can see once we got a breakout of that zone, this thing just went absolutely stupid. I mean, this is ridiculous. Within a very short time, this basically pulled a crypto move, essentially is what happened. And I'm going to show you even more examples. So trying to think of what another good one is. Let's take a look at SoundHound actually. So, and again, this is pretty much synonymous across all markets. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you're trading. It doesn't matter what you are looking at, whether it's crypto, stocks, futures, forex. Pretty much happens anywhere. Okay, so you can see a nice little long accumulation right down here in between. Kind of zoom out a little bit to see this, but you can see this kind of these lows here forming a level, right, of support, and also the price getting stuck in between those levels and the EMAs right here. What does it do when it goes sideways? That's accumulation. What happened afterwards? Took off like an absolute rocket ship to the upside. Huge move here. Once the whales or whoever was getting in here was loading their bags and it took off, they made a nice juicy 300% gain. I can even show you guys another example of, see what else I can find here. Maybe CLSK, which is one we have as well. So again, if I kind of paint you a picture here of what we're looking at, sideways, right? Nice little accumulation block right along this macro trend line and kind of around the EMAs. Again, it's not always going to look exactly picture perfect, but what happened afterwards, it took off to the moon. Let's even take a look at something like Tesla, okay? And again, there's like a billion lines on this chart. I get that, but just show you guys based on a bird's eye view of what I'm seeing here. Another good example of this right here, okay? What do we see right here? Went up and then it went sideways, right? And it went sideways in between these two zones here and right along the EMAs, and then boom, took off like a rocket. Okay, this is another example of what happens when the markets go sideways and then eventually explode to the upside, albeit this was, I wouldn't say Tesla was expensive at this price, but it had already moved up after accumulation, so a little bit more risky, but still panned out, right? Another example, NVIDIA. So here's a good example. It went up, then it went sideways. You see all the sideways right here. What happened afterwards? An absolute explosion of the price, 95% move. I could even take a look at another example here of basically what accumulation would look like before it eventually explodes up. Bitcoin, okay? We literally just saw this. And again, this could be conceived as a channel or it could be conceived as sideways accumulation, okay? So really anything in between this channel was considered to be sideways, and then we got that breakout candle the week of the election, and now we've had a couple more after it. So yeah, I mean, whales were basically accumulated in there. It is a channel, it is a bull flag, all that jazz, but it's also sideways mostly. That's what I'm trying to show you guys on the charts on the grayscale trust, okay? A lot of these things that are going sideways probably eventually going to pop off to the moon. It's just a question of when, okay? Don't know when it's going to happen, but if you're loading your bags in the sideways movement, every single one of these that I've showed you guys has literally ultimately led to the price popping off to the upside, with the exception of CLSK. I mean, again, the opposite of accumulation is distribution. Okay, in this case, it was distribution, but you could have already kind of configured that based on the fact that you had a kind of the RSI was moving down here, the RSI was overbought, right? The MACD got a death cross. We were getting rejected off the resistance. It should have been a little bit obvious at some point that this probably was going to be accumulation, or not accumulation, distribution. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.